Midwestern movie reviewer here with another movie review. I recently saw the musical Wicked in theaters. Saw it in IMAX. It was about 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and it's a PG movie. I really enjoyed this movie. And if you're a fan of musicals and you love just everything about it, the dance numbers, the choreography, the cinematography, the beautiful scenery, you are going to enjoy this. And if you're like me, ever since you saw that trailer, you were like, "Oh my god, I got to see this." Holding yourself back to seeing in the theater. I really enjoyed it.
Are people born wicked? Or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? You're green.
I am.
So, what were the things that I enjoyed? First of all, if you're not familiar with my videos, please like and subscribe to support my channel. That helps it grow. Also, please stay tuned towards the end when I share a few golden nuggets that you may not have researched, or, some curious things that you might enjoy. So, this movie, it stars Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. I was not familiar with Cynthia Erivo, but I greatly enjoyed her. She plays the Green Witch. And if you're familiar with The Wizard of Oz, I was terrified by this as a child. I found it so scary. This is not that scary. This is actually a little bit more fun. There's a few scary moments, but nothing as terrifying as The Wizard of Oz. So, that movie, it was so intense. It has some great musical numbers, but it's so intense. This is a little bit more lighthearted, and I enjoyed that a lot. But it gives the backstory of the witches in The Wizard of Oz, is what this movie is doing. So you find out, well, the Green Witch. Where did she come from? What was her origin story? And then what was her relationship with the other witches? So it's really interesting and fun. I haven't seen the musical on Broadway. That's where this came from. It came from a book adaptation of a this, of a that. All of it based on The Wizard of Oz. So very fun take on this, something different, and a new musical. So I love that. And so you're going to love the acting. Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey's in this. If you're a fan of Bridgerton, then you know who he is. And oh my goodness, he was gorgeous in this. Really, everybody, the costumes, the acting, everything was so good. I'm going to list off some of the actors because there were so many really good ones. I'm not going to name off some of the ones that you may not know, but the big actors, I'll name those off. Okay, so I already mentioned Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey. There was also Jeff Goldblum as the wizard. There was Michelle Yeoh played one of the instructors at this school that they were going to. There was also Peter Dinklage, and Bowen Yang was hilarious in this movie from SNL. If you watch Saturday Night Live, you know him. So the cast was amazing. It's also directed by John M. Chu. He is a director who has done films like In the Heights and Crazy Rich Asians. He has also directed some dance movies and other musicals, so he's familiar with this genre. He does a great job. He's directing this. This is actually part 1, Wicked part 1, and then Wicked part 2. We'll talk about that one in a minute. But he did a great job with this. Some of the things that me and the people I went to the movies with loved was the cinematography. The scenery was so beautiful and brilliant and just so reminiscent and nostalgic of Wizard of Oz. Also, some things we loved was there were a lot of animals and different creatures in this, and the CGI was very well done. You could just get right into it and believe and fall into it without going, "Oh, that looks weird," or "That looks fake." It was very, very well done. The songs and the musical numbers were really fun. A lot of the dancing and singing. were just, you got right into it. And we were just bopping in our seats. You could see other people in the theater really getting into it. It was really fun. You know, that's one of the keys or one of the main things of some of your favorite musicals when you think about them. Like Grease, the music, all the give me more, or don't let me start singing because it's not going to be good. But when you really get into it and you start dancing and forgetting about yourself, you know you're in a great musical. Okay, so we know that this is one of the best musicals, really. And it's one of the top grossing musicals that has been on Broadway. Like right underneath, what was it? I think right underneath The Lion King as far as grossing on Broadway. Some of the things I did not like about this film, though, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and it's part one. So I'm wondering, how long is this on Broadway? Is it like 3-4 hours, probably 4 or 5 hours long? It's got to be crazy long on Broadway. Plus, they usually give you an intermission. Just be prepared that this is a very long movie, 2 hours and 40 minutes, and that's not even counting trailers. So, yeah, get prepared. At times, it dragged a little bit for me because of that length, I think. I'm kind of, I don't know. I get immature. I think I start to lose my attention after a while. So be prepared. Also, I think maybe because this story is originally from the 80s or 90s, it had a few cheesy moments. But still enjoyable. I didn't mind it. But yeah, there are a few things that you're like, oh, that's kind of cheesy. Okay, the last thing that I did not really enjoy was the plot jumped all over the place. So you're like, okay, we're talking about her as a child. Okay, now why are we over here talking about this? Okay, and it jumps all over the place. It does seem to follow a central theme, but it's really disjointed plot. Still an enjoyable story, but yeah, you're having to figure out where are we going with this. But probably my favorite character was Jonathan Bailey's character. He played somebody called what was it? Fieri or Fierro. I think his name was Fierro. Oh, loved him. And he wasn't in it as much as I would have liked. But definitely this has a very moving, beautiful story. My daughter was with me and she began to cry during this. So it was very touching and sweet. And, I love movies that are moving like that. But just the music was my absolute favorite thing. The songs, their voices, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, their voices were amazing. So if you love musicals, definitely go see this. Okay, so the golden nuggets about this movie. Yes, it's going to have a part 2. That part 2 is going to come out around this time next year. But I think it said like November 21st of 2025. So be looking for that. This particular movie takes place before The Wizard of Oz. So the build up to that. Well, the next half is going to take place after The Wizard of Oz. Or after Dorothy has been in the Emerald City. So you'll kind of get to see that transition, that there's time transitions throughout this movie. And so in that way, it's somewhat epic. But I thought that is interesting because as you're watching The Wizard of Oz, you're like, you don't know anything about any of the other characters. You learn a little bit about Dorothy and her friends, but nothing about these other folks. So this is an interesting take to see this same story, but from another point of view. So looking forward to that. Okay, so I haven't done a lot of reviews lately. The pickings at the movies have been kind of light lately. I probably will try to see Heretic and Gladiator 2. I heard that one's going to be great. So look for those reviews coming up. Midwestern Movie Reviewer out.